just sat here in my van. Was everybody interested about the protest? It's really coming together now, isn't it? It's taken to a bit of a shape. I'm a bit excited about it, at the same time apprehensive. You know, it's always a dual feeling with something like that, because it's always an unknown quantity as to what to expect. It could go really, really well, or, you know, we might get problems. People might just not take to us favourably and get antagonistic and everything else, and I don't want that to happen. I just want it to be a nice affair where we can meet each other and exchange ideas, and that's what I'm aiming for. If that's the way it's going to be, then that'll please me no end. Just having my morning ritual, the latte, some porridge. This is what I'll have in the morning before I get to work. Just haven't got the time in the morning to make anything at home. Anyway, I'm off to Liverpool Football Club shortly, which I need to get out of the way. It's a bit late, this particular contract, a bit overdue. Been meaning to do it for the last 3 weeks, but I've just been too busy. But this is one club, I tell you, that knows about injustice. 27 years of injustice, which was only finalised in 2016. I'll tell you a little more about that later on. But I'm just going to tuck into my porridge now, with my syrup and my latte. And then I want to talk to you about injustice. The injustice that can go on for years and years and years. So don't expect to get through to the Jehovah's Witnesses overnight. It could take years. Be prepared for the long fight, is what I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about injustice afterwards, because it's a subject that's always been quite close to my heart. I'm not just talking about the injustice of what happened in the 50s with Martin Luther King. I'm talking about modern injustices that happen all the time. Right then, so what do I mean by modern injustices? Well, I have an example for you. Now, seeing as I'm in Liverpool today, that's where I am right now, round the corner from Liverpool Football Club, I want to talk about an injustice that went on for 27 years regarding the Hillsborough tragedy. This was only finalised in 2016, but for a 27-year period, they were looking at brick wall defiance from every angle, from the police and from the investigating authorities, the grounds people, the justice system. Everybody was defiant that they weren't going to get the answer to what they were seeking at that time. And 2016 they got that answer, and it made world headlines, and it obviously was a great day for those families that had lost men, women and children on that very, very sad day in 1989. The two football teams taking place was Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, and they played the game at Hillsborough Stadium. And this was a stadium that was in very much need of some repairs. And this was in the days when you could stand in the terraces. They've since brought out new laws where everybody has to be seated. So there's an injustice. Why am I telling you about injustice? Well, this is a subject that is so dear to my heart. I so love it when the little person in life rises to the top and is vindicated. And he is proven right against all the odds. But not just against the odds, against unscrupulous tactics. Now that leads me to another point. Someone else that I have a great admiration for, and it's not just because we're commemorating everything that this man has done. It is because he probably was a beautiful individual inside and out. I'm talking about Martin Luther King. This man was just one single voice at the time, one single voice that nobody was listening to other than his family. He probably had the support of his family from day one. But what he wanted, it wasn't an outlandish suggestion, was it? What he wanted? He only wanted what was fair. To have equality. equal rights, things now that we embrace. But back then in the 50s, it just wasn't heard of it for a white person to take on board these issues. But what did he do? He gave a conscience to people. He didn't give up. There may have been times when he wanted to give up. He may have thought that this world that he was living at that time was never going to embrace the new ideas. But he just kept on and kept on until, of course, he was assassinated, because somebody at that time had decided that his fame had reached a point where he was just that kind of target, that kind of scalp. Yeah, very sad when someone is removed simply because they dare to speak about a subject in which the world at that time was not ready for. Now that brings me to a third point. That's you, all you XJWs. Don't expect your campaigning and your message taking to have dramatic and immediate effects. This just doesn't happen. You don't have this kind of success. It is very, very rare that a person, after a short space of time, will have this kind of success. But whatever successes you do get along the way, enjoy that, embrace it, and celebrate it. VAA, they've celebrated a little success we know about. The coming protest that I believe has been properly organised by very, very upright and professional people. When this takes place, familiarise yourself with who is in your group, who is around you that you're on first name terms with. I say this because I worry about other people gate crashing our event. I don't want that to happen. I think it might be a good idea that when we have the preliminary meetings, that everybody makes friends with everybody that's around at that meeting, and you have a good idea of who's going to be standing alongside you. If on the day you notice that there are people that are standing alongside you and they don't seem to have the same inclination as you, but a different one, then just put distance between you and them. They may be troublemakers, gate crashers. This happens in London, this happens in all the major cities. We have to look out for it. But I have complete trust in the appointees and the trustees of this particular protest, that they will have all that in thought at the moment. Now, we are governed by rules, and rules are a good thing. You just don't get anywhere in life without rules. You know, the day that you achieve great things in a ruleless society, well, I've yet to see that. We normally achieve great things because of rules, and the protest will be governed by rules, and we'll know all about these rules. We've probably heard some of the talk from one of the dear ex-sisters that's going to be organising it, and she's made things quite clear, and I'm glad she did, because I was a little like that. I didn't know really what to expect. Now I'm going to introduce myself when I get there. I'm going to be doing a lot of filming, bringing a lot of cameras. Thinking of buying one of those recorder mics. I think they call them Yellowtech. They're expensive. I think they're about £1,000. But the idea of the Yellowtech mic is you pass it around. Right? It's not a radio mic. It's a recorder mic. And it picks up the sound that you're putting into it at that local level. That means if there's any buses and cars and there's any outside influences going on, it won't pick that up. It will minimise that because it has a special inbuilt limiter. It probably is one of the best broadcasting mics currently available today. Yes, expensive, I know, but maybe it's necessary. So I'm thinking of buying that. I'm bringing 4K cameras, but I might not be using the 4K capabilities. I just might be using full HD. simply because it's just a lot better for uploading to YouTube and Facebook. Now, one thing I will tell you is I'm not tying in my musical channel to my religious channel on Facebook or anything like that, or even on YouTube. I'm keeping my interest in religion separate from my interest in music, and I hope you understand why. I do have a lot of people that know me through my videos musically. I'm only an amateur, I'm not a professional, but I hope to be a professional one day. But I'll do what I can to help the community, because I am one of you. As you know, I was born in that religion, and that makes me, well, it makes me quite fervent and quite to stand alongside and get a few more answers from the JWs, who seem to be ducking and diving at every opportunity rather than answer simple questions. Yes, you don't want to be standing in anybody's way. This has been said. Yeah, don't do that. The police will pick up on that. They will move you on. If you hinder someone, if you stop someone and that person then has to walk around you, just be careful of that, be mindful of that, be respectful. Very, very important thing to be respectful. We do not want the media to blacken us before we've even had a chance to open people's eyes. So, with that in mind, I'm now going to sign off for now. I'm going to get off to this contract in Liverpool, and I'll probably get back to you and show you around the ground. For those that have never been to Anfield Stadium, it is littered in history, in European glory, in cup glories, local, international. It is a club of pedigree history. I say that as a Manchester United fan. I can do, because in the spirit of fairness, that is where I lie. I look at both sets of arguments. I look at what the Jehovah's Witnesses are doing and what the apostates are doing. I weigh up the one against the other. This is done in the spirit of fairness, and the only way that I know how to evaluate things. Well, I told you it was only round the corner. There it is in the distance. Anfield Road, Liverpool Football Club. Yeah, when you get here, you think, oh, I thought it were bigger than that. Well, once you get inside, you realise it is quite big. It's like any stadium. They are very deceiving until you get inside and you're walking around, and then you realise, ooh, pretty big. Yeah, what a pedigree history of a club this one is. Yep, this one and Man United have always been two clubs that I've always considered to be pretty special for many, many reasons. Right, so we're here. Let's get inside. Yeah, they're really chuffed about that win last night. It was pretty good against the UK's best Premier League side, Man City. Alright, we're live again. So I'm on level 2 now at the Liverpool Football Club. I'm just having an official tour. Well, unofficial really. I'm not paying for this tour. Just a walk around. Now, to think that only yesterday there were 54,000 people in this stadium. Wow, what a match. There's people buzzing still from that match. I know there's a return leg in 2 weeks' time, and you can bet your life that Manchester City will have to put an amazing display there. But don't underestimate Liverpool, and don't underestimate the resilience they've got. They are one capable team. Very favourite place is Liverpool for many reasons. You Americans, you love the Beatles. Well, so do we. We'll never forget them. Now we're just going to walk out and hopefully give you a bit of a glimpse of the pitch in a bit, which will be pretty cool. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get up pitch side. I might just have to stay within the stadium and just look down on the pitch, but that's fine for me, because it still gives me a sense of greatness being here. Right, here we're going. We're going through the little tunnel now. You're going to get a glimpse of the pitch. A stadium that's got pedigree history. And here we are. This is great, isn't it? Have a quick scan of that. We're still cleaning up from last night. Aye, 54,000 people can make a bit of a mess, that's for sure. It's alright, isn't it? It's alright being involved with this kind of contract. Quite humbling in a lot of ways. I like to be humbled. Yeah. Yes, the favourite colour here is red. Here we go. Check that out. Yeah, pretty stoked, to say the least. Now this is cool. Walking pitch side. Yeah, there's still a lot of activity here. People cleaning up from last night. Do you know what? When the sun's out, it's bloody beautiful, this country. You just don't see the sun enough. But today, it's graced us with its presence. And there's not too much wind either, so the microphone should be fine. There we go. Have a scan round there. It's brilliant. Love it. It's a proper team, innit, to organise a big football event. You couldn't have a successful team if they didn't know what they were doing, and everybody definitely knows what they're doing. They all play such an important role in keeping big clubs ticking over. And there's no shortage of fans, is there? Just when you think that football isn't as popular as it used to be, you get teams like Man United and Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Barcelona. You get all the big teams proving you wrong. That football is more popular today than it's ever been, and is likely to stay that way. I can't see football ever becoming a secondary sport to any other sport. It's still the most popular game in the world, and for good reason. I've moved location now. I've moved from where it was sunny, and it was quite majestic over there with that sun shining the way it was. So I'm behind the goal now, and just to my right over there, in that distance there, it looks like the media room's up there. But it's great, isn't it, being behind the goal? The activity that's going on now around me. I don't know how many people are currently here, but it must be a few hundred. They're all dotted all over the place. Just it's such a big stadium, you can't always see them. Quite good luck to Liverpool Football Club in 2 weeks' time when they defend the Champions League second match against Manchester City. Yes, why? Do I think they're going to do it? Quite possibly. To have that kind of advantage, obviously they're going to have to apply themselves and probably still attack, not be too defensive. And Liverpool are noted for their attack, and that's one reason why they've been such an entertaining side for many years. I'm back again. I'm not on the official tour, I'm on my own little tour. So I'm having to tailor this to my own needs. But it looks like we're having a look into the players' dressing rooms now, which is a new one for me. Never happened there before. I've never seen a player's dressing room ever. A little excited, definitely. Wow, and this is it, the home dressing room. We've got foam extinguishers and CO2s, so they're taking things seriously. And this is it, guys. Let's have a walk around using the steady shot, the way it should be. Yeah. Excellent. There we go. Glory, people. Glory. And doesn't glory look good? You know what looks better than glory? Justice. Justice looks better than anything. The justice of 27 years settlement of hurt. Just lie down there and take care of that pulled muscle, will you? Physiotherapy, so important. So important. Oh, this is something new. I says to Matt, I says, what are them when we came out of the away dressing room? And he says, oh, that's where they all stand when they've been interviewed. We usually have like boards around them. And the lights will shine onto the boards, and they can have probably banners at the back like that, reflecting the Champions League or whatever football competition that they're in. But that's pretty cool, isn't it? You know, I suppose effectively they could turn that into a green screen quite easily, with the two lights like that, the way they're appropriately positioned. This is one side of the football side of things I've never seen before. But yeah, I can just imagine them all stood there, giving their interviews, one after the other after the match, man of the match, giving deliberations on how the match went from the managers, all stood there. Yeah, it's all come to life now, and it's pretty damn cool. Okay, so they've just come out of the dressing rooms. They're a bit nervous because you've got equal respect for each other usually at this level in the Champions League, because any team is more than capable of lifting that trophy on its day. And then they'll come through this area here, the tunnel, to a rapturous applause. The home fans going absolutely berserk, cheering Liverpool on, and remembering all those brilliant players that have played for the club over the years, who have stepped out here and run onto that pitch. Well, did I say it's humbling? It is bloody humbling, I'll tell you. All those little boys that played football, who wanted to excel in the greatest game that the world's ever known, football. Sorry to all my American friends, gridiron, it doesn't compare to what you guys call soccer, what we call football. This is our national sport, and for good reason. There just isn't a better sport. No sport compares to football. People live and die with their allegiance to their teams. Is it like a war? Sometimes it does seem like a war when you're fighting for glories. Yeah, you've heard of that expression, haven't you, at Liverpool, where they talk about the 12th man. Oh, there you go. The 12th man, the fans. That is the 12th man. And hasn't it proven time and time again to be the most accurate statement that they've ever uttered? Wow. Every stadium, every football team has a 12th man. But no more so than here, where this statement was given true credibility. So the video now takes a more somber tone. And why? Well, if I turn the camera around, you'll know why. 96 men, women and children at Hillsborough who lost their lives. And more recently, 2016, a vindication for the people and families who campaigned for 27 years for justice. People, this is what justice looks like. The sadness of it all, but at the end of it, with tireless campaigning, you were able to overturn established thinking, in-ground thoughts, and people that were standing in the way of true justice. You have to admire, simply admire the people of Liverpool for not giving up on getting justice for all those men, women and children that died in 1989 at the Hillsborough tragedy. The world has never forgotten this, and they should never forget this. And it's nice to know that justice can be achieved simply by continuing with your fight. Never ever forget, and they never have. And the Sun newspaper is still not being sold in Liverpool simply because of the malicious lies that they told against the people of Liverpool at that time. Yes, it is a somber tone, and for good reason. And it's there, which is where I'm going to end this video. It's about justice. this video. Justice for all those seeking something that is so difficult to achieve. But if you don't try, you will never ever realize what you're capable of. And it's with thanks in my heart that they continued this for 27 years, this fight. And then in 2016, when it was returned after a 2-year study, that negligence was indeed found with the police and those connected with the ground at that time. Yes, justice. Justice for the small person in life, for the little man, the one that dares to stand up against organised authority. Thank you.